Let's keep things going. So I'm going to introduce you guys to Derrick. Let me just put this down here. All right, so Derrick, please make your way here. So let me introduce you guys to Derrick. Feel free to steal this. So Derrick is a software engineer at IcePanel, which is part of the YC cohort of 2023, if I'm reading this correctly. When he's not behind a computer, you can find him on your closest mountain, either skiing, biking, or hiking. Tonight, he's talking about visualizing software architecture, why boxes and arrows aren't good enough. Please give it up for Derrick, guys.
All right. Yeah, so I'm Derrick. I work at a company called IcePanel. So we do diagramming. We're a diagramming tool for software architecture. So I'm here, no surprises. I'm here to talk about visualizing software architecture and why boxes and lines aren't enough. So who of you have created a diagram in the last few months for work? Okay, awesome. And how many of you, your diagram ended up something like this or something like this? Now, they're not bad, but you will need someone to explain them to you because they tend to get quite messy. You're usually using like an ad hoc method of whatever kind of is coming to you at that time. For instance, I mean, this diagram, it's not clear what the arrows actually mean. Could use some labels in there. There's different colors. You have like no idea what the different colors actually symbolize. You don't know the dotted lines to the circles and the squares. And it all gets very messy very quickly. So these are some common mistakes that we see. Yeah, people use acronyms. Like there's actually teams that we work with that have the same acronym for like 2 completely different services, and it's just like it causes a crazy amount of confusion. And yeah, so we see this happen all the time. And as developers, it's really important that we're able to visually communicate our ideas to people and our technical designs. And with good visuals, it helps you navigate your code base more easily. It helps you communicate what you're working on to others and how the system you intend to change it and things like that. And it also helps onboard new developers to your system. One of the common problems that you have is that you're not talking at the right levels of abstraction when you're trying to explain things. To kind of illustrate this, it's if you're trying to organize, I'm trying to organize a meetup at this park. Well, if you don't live in my neighborhood, you don't really know what I'm talking about. And you're too zoomed in, you're too detailed focused at this point in time. So it's not helpful. Similarly, if I show you something like this, it's also not helpful because it's too zoomed out. It does a good job of showing where Vancouver is in the lower mainland, but in terms of getting you to that park, it doesn't really help. And so this is where something called the C4 model can kind of help you. So this was created by Simon Brown, who's a UK software architect. This is one of the main things that he talks about. He has a lot of really good talks online. I encourage you guys to go check that out. But what the C4 model is a map of your software systems tailored for multiple different audiences. Okay, well, what does that mean? Well, it's actually just two simple things. It's a simple set of abstractions, and it's 4 diagram types. The nice thing about the C4 model is that it's tool and notation independent. So wherever you're diagramming currently, you can kind of bring this idea of a C4 model and bring that to your workflow. So the abstractions. Well, we have people. These are the end users of our software system. They can be the internal users, they can be admin users, they can be your customers. Then we have the system itself, which is the highest abstraction. I'll get into that in a minute. We have containers. These are not Docker containers. This this framework was actually around before Docker containers were a thing, and they kind of stole the word from us. But it's an abstract idea of a container, so it's a deployable unit of software. And then you have components, which make up your containers. Those are the building blocks of those. So why is it called C4? Well, it's called C4 because it's named after the different diagram types. So there's 4 different diagram types. There's your context level diagram, your container level diagram, your component diagram, and your code diagram. At the context level, you're talking about the high level things. You're talking about your software system. You're talking about the actors that perform actions with your system. Moving down a level, you're talking about containers. You're talking about the individual deployed things. And then moving down a level further, you're talking about components, and you're talking about the things that make up those deployed units, and then talking about code. That is when you're actually at the nuts and bolts of the code. I don't recommend you do diagramming for code by hand, because it will be immediately out of date as things change. But there are a lot of tools that can help you do that kind of thing. So what is a system? Well, a system is just something that delivers business value for you or for your users. In many cases, this software system is owned by a single team. Yeah, so there's not much to it other than that. At IcePanel, we have one system because we deliver one kind of a unique business value, which is this modeling tool. So we model that actually as one system. And we also integrate with external systems. So if you want to showcase it, something like that in your notation, if you're diagramming, you could do something like that. A container, as I was mentioning, is just a deployable unit of software. So it is, it could be your web app, it could be your API, or it could be a database. So it could be a cache, it could be a CDN, but it is like a singular deployed unit. A component is a grouping of related functionality encapsulated behind a well-defined interface. So like in JavaScript, this might be an NPM package. In Python, it could be a module. It could also be like just a collection of classes. And then there's the code, or the stuff that my AI now writes. So I don't have to worry about that anymore. So when would you use each of these different diagram types? So it really depends on who you're talking to. So if you're talking to high-level business people and you want to just talk about like how you're going to deliver on this value, you create a context diagram. So that's like the 30,000-foot view of your system and the business value you hope to provide. As you drill down, that's when you're talking with product people and software architects and developers and talking about all the different services that you're going to need to provide these systems and this business value. Going a level further, that's when the developers are actually going to be talking about this stuff and what components need to change, what are the dependency between these modules, that kind of thing. And then there's the code, which is also a very technical audience of developers and software architects. Yeah, that's it. So next time you're thinking about doing a diagram, just try and think about the level of abstraction that you're going to be talking about these things, and try and keep it consistent. Use these diagrams to be consistent on what you're talking about. One other thing is we're actually hiring right now. So if you or someone you know is looking for a new job and wants to work with some pretty cool people and we do some cool things, and we work on a cool tool, yeah, consider applying or come chat to me.